You're listening to Gin and Chat with Lo and Nat. So pour yourself a chilled martini and sit down for a chat.
Ready, Nat? Cheers. Natalie made the drinks today.
It's fresh, lemony.
We love a gin martini. It's her whole personality now that we have this podcast.
Always hits.
So welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Gin and Chat with Lo and Nat.
Yes, I'm Nat.
I'm Lo. Lauren. Nickname Lo.
Yes.
We'll take it.
And I'm just calling myself Nat because it flowed better with the name.
Exactly. Exactly. Which is so fun.
By the way, this is extremely surreal.
I can't believe we have all of this and it came so naturally.
Yeah. So
because we literally, as a best friend duo does, says we should start a podcast.
a month ago.
We were at a bar.
Yep.
Having a drink, exactly like we're doing now.
Yep.
And we were like, you know what? Everyone would want to hear us talk on a mic. And then we put it out there. We actually filmed a episode, kind of.
Yeah, we sat down in my apartment in Arizona and we just set up, like, I have those like mini mics that you use for like TikToks.
Yeah. Literally.
And we clipped those on and we sat down. We had no topic, like no theme.
None.
We just like went for it.
It was like our pregame. We were like, some people pregame by like having a whole group over and having dancing around. We pregame by recording a podcast.
Yeah, like there's some friends that like when they're drunk, they like have fun, they party. No, we come up with
businesses. We are entrepreneurs, business women.
Yes.
We always have been, actually.
Yeah.
Because our stories we would say when we were little, like that was our personality when we were younger. So we're just like living into alignment.
We're living out our dream.
Which is a great segue into what we wanted to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Living in alignment.
And also manifestation, which we totally believe in.
We manifested this.
We did.
I will say.
A month ago.
We put it out there and then my dad was like, hey, I actually have a podcast studio that's right next door to my office. I know the owner.
What are the odds?
And then we're like, let's just go say hi. Natalie's in town.
Yep.
She's staying with my parents right now. Let's go say hello.
I do.
As she actually always does. Fun fact, Natalie is my only friend that has stayed in my childhood bedroom without me. Like, I have not been living at home and Natalie is there cuddling with my dog, hanging out with my parents.
I was on a very big job. I was on the Eras tour.
Yay. Which she also manifested that.
I did manifest. We will get into that.
We'll get into all that.
But I was rehearsing for a month in April in the middle of the tour.
Last year.
And I was like, where am I going to live? Because I don't live in LA anymore. And I thought, is it weird, like at 26 years old at the time, to live with my friend's parents? And she was like, no, they would love to have you.
Natalie's the only friend that it wouldn't be weird. Like, I was like, go for it.
Yeah, and she wasn't even there. So I would literally just go down in the morning. Her dad would make me cappuccinos. Yeah. And then at night, I would have like girl chat with your mom.
She'd send me pictures of her and my dog cuddling. Like,
it's great.
I was living like 45 minutes away at the time too. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just drive home and see Nat in my childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
Love.
But you need those type of friends. You know, like Lauren and I have been friends for like almost a decade now. So
I feel old.
Yeah. We have lots of stories to tell.
We do.
But
what are we talking about?
Let's talk about manifestation.
Right.
So, I mean, for me specifically, like thinking about that big job that I was just on for the last 2 years,
like, which was, I mean, incredible to see.
Crazy.
From literally, I remember you being like, oh, I have an audition tomorrow, and it being that.
Yeah, and I
seen the progression.
Was like driving to the audition, and I remember playing Anti-Hero in the car, and I like changed the lyrics of it, and I literally was like, "It's me, hi, please book me for your tour." And it worked.
And she was booked.
You know, but really what we feel is like living in alignment is like knowing that what is meant for you will find you. Like that is the biggest lesson that you can take away.
Chasing anything. It's like you know that you are standing on your own 2 feet. You know who you are. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. And everything that is aligned with that is going to find you. But you need to be able to live in that truth first in order to attract those things.
Because when you try to force something, it's never going to happen. And I think people really sense like desperation.
They do. It's an energy that you can pick up on.
Yeah. So like, what's something that you manifested, Lauren? Tell us.
I love manifesting. I do it all the time.
Tell us.
Because I think it's just also part of self-discovery. Like I said, like you have to know yourself really well in order to stand true in the fact that what is meant for you will find you. So I guess mine would also be a job. Yes. All through high school, I was like, I want to do Clippers Spirit Squad. I was like, I saw the ETV show when I was in middle school, which is funny because I'm like friends with some of those girls now. But I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Since middle school. So I'd always talk about it. I always put it out there, and it was kind of like a deep knowing that someday it would happen. I didn't know if I had to audition once or 5 times. Yeah. Sorry.
We're new to this.
5 times. But I didn't care. I was like, we're doing this. So I'd always put it out there. So, I mean, COVID hit, and that was when we were graduating, which is a whole other
2020 was the worst year to graduate.
Mind you, we're dance majors, and the whole dance entertainment industry is shot. So we were graduating as dance majors in 2020, which was very difficult.
Hard time.
But once COVID restrictions were lifted and auditions were starting to happen again, I was like, okay, I'm going to audition. Who knows what will happen? I'm just hoping again. Yeah. I have a deep knowing that it's going to happen one day. Then I'm at Buffalo Exchange on Ventura Boulevard, always. And I see a Clippers backpack. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this Clippers backpack as if I've already made the team. Like I'm repping Clippers right now. And I remember buying it with that intention. I literally took it to the audition. And then I got it my first year auditioning. And insane. Also the first time we walked into, I mean, it's crypto now, Staples Center is what it was then. First time we walked in there, I was like, I have this backpack because I've had this feeling since before I auditioned.
It's amazing.
So that's my manifesting.
It's incredible.
You really have to show up as if you already have it.
That's the key, I think. It's like we were talking about how people say like, you have to envision the person that you want to become and then think in the mindset of like what that person would do. Yeah. So like the version of myself who is the best version of myself and the most aligned, like what did they act like on a day-to-day basis? Like that version of myself probably gets up at 7 a.m. every day, makes my bed, does my skincare routine.
You do. Puts on mascara.
Makes my breakfast, goes to work out. Like you have to get very specific with it because then it's actually attainable.
Right. You know? Exactly. Because it seems really daunting from like, I want to get here and then I want to accomplish like booking the Eras tour. Like I'm sure when you, knew you then. So when you started like dancing in LA, like something as big and monumental as like the tour of the century was probably not even in your forefront. No. But you kept showing up like you were booking that job and then you did. And it was so beautiful to see because everything like for you aligned, like that job. Like I remember I went to the Seattle show, which was really fun because I was doing a show out there at the time.
And Seattle, it's my hometown.
Exactly. So I got to see her hometown show and I went and I remember like the first move, I was like, she is meant, and I told him this, to be on that stage with that artist dancing those moves. Like it was crazy. Everything felt so aligned. But I also know that you said no to some things that felt it wasn't aligned with you before.
I think it's interesting, like the timing of everything. Like I remember I actually almost quit dance. You know, like if you're an artist or a performer, like you totally understand. Like it's such a love-hate relationship. Like it really is a roller coaster, and it's something that you're never going to love 100% of the time because it's hard.
It's also becomes work.
It does. And so I remember it got to a point where I was like, it felt like work. My passion was going away. I was also doing a lot of fitness jobs at the time. Like I think I was on like a Beachbody series at the time. And I loved it. I had so much fun. And I was like in the best shape of my life. And I was like, maybe this is the lane I'm supposed to
remember seeing you post about that set. And I was like, she looks so happy there. Like, you were so fulfilled doing that job.
Totally.
But that energy then attracted it, right?
See, and that's the thing is like, I think I had the mindset of like, well, dance isn't working out for me right now. So I'm just going to kind of go this fitness route and like see where it could take me. Right. But then I obviously got the audition for the Eras tour. And like, it's because I had the mindset of, I don't need this. I'm happy with where my life is at right now. That's why I booked it. I truly believe that.
No, me too. Me too.
Like you have to have that mindset of like knowing that what is meant for you will find you, because you're gonna hear no 1,000 times. And this doesn't just apply to dance. Like it applies to every job, every career, also friendships, like life, relationships.
True.
Like manifesting that is so real too.
But I think it's going back to our original point is like you have to know yourself so well in order to be able to attract what's truly meant for your highest self. Because even let's take it to like relationships or friendships. Like I know there are relationships/friendships that do not serve me anymore, that I maybe have outgrown, that when I leave that hangout, I feel exhausted. And it's like knowing when to have peace with letting that go. And then continuing on is only going to create space for what is actually meant for you and your purpose. So part of it, like just like a relationship with dance or a performance career, like it is an up and down because you're always having to reevaluate like where you stand, who you are, what you like, what you don't like. And create space for finding people that align with your true knowing of yourself.
I think it's also like such a work in progress. It's like
dropped an eye channel something.
It's the gin. It's the gin, honestly. I think it's such a work in progress too. Like, you know, we're sitting here 27 years old now, but like this is something I never used to be able to do. Like I was such a visualizer, but I didn't know to what extent it could really help me in like my entire life until I started leaning into it more. And then once you see it working, then you're like, oh, wait, I totally manifested this. And then you get addicted to it. And now we're in a phase of our life where it's so funny. We always say, we're like, we're so aligned.
We're like, we actually like, we'll say this all the time. Everything works out for us.
Everything works out.
Even if it doesn't feel like it is, it is. Because it's creating space maybe for something that's more meant for you, but it's having that faith also that I think plays a really important factor.
And everything is a lesson. Like even if you think something's not working out, there's a reason it didn't work out because it's leading you to something better or bigger.
And I also think like we've been able to have this type of mindset. We talk about this a lot. Like these are conversations that we have like pretty much on the daily.
We're not just like doing this for you guys.
No. Like we have these type of things, like conversations all the time. I think finding the people that align with that. Like I would not be where I'm at today in terms of mindset if it wasn't for a friendship with like Natalie. Like stop. There's the gin.
No, it's true though, because like I've also noticed that we've been talking about this a lot. It's like you want to surround yourself with people that energize you. And I think like I notice like we're big like empaths and we pick up on energies very deeply. And I notice like when I leave hanging out with someone or you know,
how I feel,
a get together or whatever, how I feel, and take note of that. Cause it's like, if somebody's energy is draining you, no offense, but drop them. Bye-bye, you know, whether that's a relationship, a friendship, it's like, it's just not worth it. Like you need to be around people that feed you. And it's like why our friendship works so well is because we feed each other. And that goes for friendships, relationships. It's like, you should inspire each other. You should want to work harder when you're around each other. Like, okay, we're having a moment. Oh, I love you. Okay, well, also, we want to talk about a balanced lifestyle.
Oh, yes.
Yes, because that kind of goes along with living in alignment. Like, we've talked a lot about work and jobs, and like, we can obviously get more into it. Like, that's such a big part of everyone's life. But we also believe so hard, and I know it's cheesy. I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but like work hard, play hard. It's such a real thing.
That's life, right? Like you want to be able to have fun and you want to be successful. And I think when you're having fun with your work, you then become more successful. And then you can have more fun. It's just
it's a spiral effect. And like, that's literally why we started this podcast. Like we were like, what should we call it? And it just kind of flowed. And we were like, Gin&Chat, because we're also like, I mean, Lauren and I are professional dancers and fitness instructors and now entrepreneurs, I guess. But like, we also love to go to Vegas randomly one weekend.
Yes.
On a whim.
And
to go see John Summit at the Sphere.
Or like drive to Coachella for a day. And like maybe you don't have to do those like extreme kind of things.
That's
like
us.
What we're saying is like we like to like sit down, whip out our computers and be like, let's write a business plan. Yeah. We have so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
Because the creative pursuit of it is amazing. But we also love to like go to a festival and dance and to have fun together.
And I think everybody's version of balance looks different. You know what I mean? Like, and you will learn that. It's like for us, we know that like we get fueled by live music. Like we love that. So we will make time in our schedules. Like, let's go to this music festival. Let's go to this show or whatever.
And I think it goes back to like seeing how you feel when you leave something. Like I feel energized when I leave something with live music or something where I'm meeting new people that are creatives or doing something like this. Like it all gives me energy, whether it's work or play. So finding that balance between the two, like it all kind of feels like play in a way, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And like even going to take a dance class, like I'm like, oh,
totally.
like
It's energizing.
But when it's not, I don't go.
I was just going to say, sometimes it's not. Yeah. And when you feel like something is like becoming work too much, especially if it's a creative thing, like that might mean you need to take a break. And there's nothing wrong with taking a break.
I think it's, again, knowing yourself and listening to yourself.
Huge.
Because if you really get quiet for a moment and listen, you're able to hear the answer.
Yeah.
You are.
So true.
Goes back to knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is always a work in progress.
Oh, absolutely. We got a lot.
We don't have all the answers. We just have learned over time what makes us feel good, what doesn't. And that happens to be very similar for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, going back to like doing things on a whim, like Lauren is just one of those friends, which like not everybody's like this, but I'm a Sagittarius, by the way.
I'm a Scorpio. If that gives you any idea of our dynamic.
You're like, everything makes sense now.
Yes.
But like, she's the friend that I know I can call whenever I have a crazy idea. And 9 times out of 10, she'll be like, I'm there. And I love that.
She, like a couple weeks ago, she calls me. She actually texts me and goes, so we're going to go this weekend to Vegas to see Anima at the Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tuesday. I was like, I just responded, ha. And then guess where we went that weekend?
Vegas.
To Vegas to see Anima at the Sphere with John Summit. It was incredible. It was
so
100 out of 10. Amazing.
You know, the thing I love about John Summit, segue real quick. He's a man that loves his job.
Right. And you can tell. He loves to perform.
Yes. He exudes joy. And it's like, I think as an artist, like watching other artists like live out their dream and like be fueled by their passion.
It inspires us.
It's so great.
Yeah. Like I left there being like, oh, I just want to work hard and like continue to love what I do. Like those types of environments are very important to put ourselves in because we need to be able to pull that inspiration when we're not feeling it ourselves.
Absolutely.
So that was incredible. But I will say really quick, it's not like I'm like always down with whoever calls me. Like it is truly you, like, because I know that we are on the same page. I know that we think the same way in certain situations. And like, if we're going to Vegas, we're going to be wanting to do the exact same things and like communicate with each other and like be on the same wavelength. So it's not everybody that I say yes to all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's also the Scorpio in me. Very picky.
Also, like our friendship didn't always... it wasn't always like this.
No.
Lauren and I guess we'll give you like a short little brief backstory since it's our first episode. So you're getting to know us. Lauren and I met in college. We both went to Chapman University, dance majors. I also majored in PR and ad. We forget about that sometimes.
It's there.
Details, schmeetails.
Hey.
But
it's there.
Yeah. It's there. I use it sometimes, I guess. We made this logo.
Yes, Natalie was a beast in Canva. I've been paying for Canva Pro for like a year and a half now. I have never used it like she used it. Like I was sitting there watching her and I was like, I didn't know you can do all this. No one told me you could do all this, but I've been paying for it.
She gets a little like frustrated if something doesn't work out right away, and I know her well enough now to sense that. So like I'm looking over at her and I'm like experimenting with things because it's trial and error. Like nothing's gonna be perfect the first time, and so I'm moving things around, moving the script, and Lauren's like shutting down. Like she's just like getting quieter, and she's like, and I'm like, you don't like it? And she's like, I don't know. And she's just quiet. And I'm like, are you shutting down? I'm like, you have to give it a second.
Yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, come back. And she came over. She's like, I love it.
And like, that's a Scorpio in a sense. Like, that just makes sense.
It's balance.
Okay.
But balance. We met at the beginning of college.
Right. We moved into the same house at the same time.
Yes.
Sophomore year of college.
No, junior year.
It's okay.
Close enough. We forget sometimes. But yeah, we lived together junior year. But we weren't even like that close then. We got way closer after college, actually.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah, we got in a fight once.
Does it? Yeah, we did. In Vegas.
Vegas. And maybe alcohol was involved. So we're going to blame it on that.
Blame it on the alcohol.
Whoa. It made us stronger.
Yeah, she And here's the thing, we know we can fight. Like, as weird as that sounds, like,
that's a good friendship.
That we know that we had one, that was definitely our only like big blow up fight. Totally. We were able to resolve it immediately, but it's like, we know that like we can have hard conversations with each other. We're not scared of each other.
Yeah.
It's like very honest and open.
Love that. And I think you need that, you know?
Yes.
Okay, let's circle back for a second. I know you have another story about manifestation somewhere deep down.
Yeah. Okay.
Think of it. Take a beat.
I do. I feel like I always think of jobs just because, especially from like 21 to 27, that was kind of like what we've been doing dance industry wise.
Well, quick segue on that also is like, I think as dancers, and also all artists probably can relate to this, and a lot of people can too, but it's like, sometimes it's hard to you define yourself by your career and your accomplishments. And that's something I'm still learning, is like, the interesting thing is you kind of base your happiness or your value in your life on like, well, when I book this, I'll be happy. When I do this, I'll be happy. When I make this amount of money, I'll be happy. Like, a lot of people say things like that, but truthfully, once you reach that or achieve it, you're actually not fulfilled 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. When I remember, like, because I had wanted clippers for so long. That was like my big goal. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just gonna like heal me and all of my problems and like all of like, whatever. I thought I was gonna be like this new version of myself after that one audition that I booked.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up the next morning and I was like, I'm sad to say, I'm the same person with the same problems.
Yeah.
Like, they don't go away.
Yeah.
And until I did the internal work and was able to know how I felt even outside of any accomplishments or any label, then I found my happiness. Then I could attract more, which I guess goes back to like what we were saying in the beginning, is living in alignment. But
yeah, I saw something recently that was like, you can't live life by just like checking things off a list and like going for your accomplishments. You have to live it. Like,
it's like that Disney movie, Soul.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. He's just kind of waiting around and he doesn't live his life. I remember watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing that for the past for a long time, actually.
Oh, for sure.
But I do think that's a great point and a necessary point to make, because, and I also think that that's kind of something that you learn in your later 20s and going into your 30s. Because when you're starting out your career, like, of course you're going to think, when I get this, then I'll be happy.
I need to get this.
That's what you're focusing on. Yep. That's the next phase of life. You maybe just graduated college. You've been on the same timeline as all of your friends for your whole entire life. And now you all are just kind of left to figure it out. And especially in an entertainment career.
Totally.
Like, of course you're going to think, when I get that, then I'll do this. But those lessons are really important and necessary to learn. Because I remember waking up and I was like, no, I'm the same person with the same problems.
Yep.
Like, actually, it got worse.
Or you get like a new set of problems.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I mean, tour for me, like, I always wanted to book a world tour and it was like the best experience of my life. But there was also times where I was like, I am so lonely.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's so hard.
So Natalie never asked for help. Like, that is kind of her thing. She never asked for help.
It's really bad.
She called me and was like, please come visit me on the European leg.
Yeah.
Like, please come. And I was like, if she's asking me to go, like, I have to go. So I went to Vienna.
It was very healing.
Yeah. So I showed up because I was like, okay, she never asked for help. Yeah. But it's funny because you see the like Instagram posts and like, I know you're having a great experience.
Of course.
But you're still human. There are going to be moments where you feel lonely.
Yeah. And just a reminder, I mean, everybody, I think, hopefully knows this now, but like, Instagram is a glorified version of your life. That is not realistic.
Like, the highlight reel.
That is not what the day-to-day looks like or feels like.
Yeah.
You know? And so
that's big.
I did learn a lot on that job experience. And beforehand too, like, I think now being a professional dancer for like, I guess 6 years now almost, which is crazy. But just learning that like, it doesn't matter how many jobs I book or how many things I get. That's not really ultimately what makes me happy. What makes me happy is like getting to do my passion. Like, how cool.
Yeah.
But I also am not just a dancer. And that's kind of like the phase in our life that we're moving into now, is like, what else do I enjoy besides dance? Like, I love sitting down and talking to my friend in a microphone. Like, why not? That's so fun.
You know? I know. And we would have never been able to like when we graduated college, if someone were to tell me like, oh, you'll start a podcast with Natalie one day, I'd be like, I would have laughed. The capacity for that. I'm a professional dancer. Like, what do you mean? I'm going to do NBA for like 5 years. Like, that's what I was thinking, you know? I did it for 2. I'm just going to put
Yeah,
that out there.
that's okay. That was enough. 2 was
That was great.
2 was
It was great. Yeah, it was perfect.
Well, okay. Last thing before we leave today, we just want to leave you with some book recommendations.
We love to read.
We love to read. I should read more actually, but these are just books that we feel like have helped us like stay in alignment in our lives, and have helped us with the idea of like manifestation. One I'm like currently reading right now and I'm not done with it, but it's the When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal by Brianna Wiest. I hope I said that correctly.
Nice.
But that's the one I want to recommend. It's incredible. I feel like every time I open that book, it's saying exactly what I need to hear in that moment. And it's totally what we've been talking about. It's like letting go of the things in your past, not letting it define you, moving forward, staying true to yourself, being in alignment. And it's fantastic. So give it a read.
I love that. I actually haven't read that. So
she's going to read it after me.
yeah. Okay. The next one is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Good one. Such a superstar.
Yeah.
I feel so inspired by her. And I really think as recovering people pleasers, the let them theory, because part of it is let them and then let me, right? So it's like knowing yourself and then also not having to like control the outcome with others.
Yep.
Which I also think really relates to artists as
Absolutely. Pathological people pleasers. That's us.
It's a great line. Okay, and then the last one, we've actually both read this.
Yes.
The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown.
My therapist in college recommended me that book and it changed
We
my
love
life.
therapy.
Yeah.
We recommend it. We're huge advocates.
Big advocates for therapy. Highly recommend.
We got into therapy at the same time, funny enough. Like
We did.
senior year of college, we talked about it, but we weren't super, super close yet, which was so funny.
But I think that's why we got close. Is it's important to note that like we grew at the same time as people and we kept growing. And I think there is nothing wrong with like outgrowing people in your life. That is totally okay.
It doesn't have to be like this big thing, dramatic, like malicious, like thank you so much for like what you taught me. And I wish you nothing but love and happiness and like move on to the people that are aligned with you.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our first podcast episode.
So surreal. We manifested
so crazy.
it. Sure.
Maybe 5 people will watch this. I don't know. Maybe a couple, maybe 50. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. I would love 50. Let's try to get 50.
We're going to put it up on YouTube and TikTok and like just let us know if there's anything you guys want to hear from us. Give us some ideas. But we're so excited. So thanks for joining us. I'm Nat.
I'm Lo.
And this was Gin&Chat.
Woo!
Cheers. Bye. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you had a great chat. Lo and Nat can't wait to have you back.